it's more than likely that you identified at least one of the movies these sounds were from. You can probably even pinpoint the exact part of the film. Now you're probably overwhelmed by nostalgia because you haven't seen them for so long. Well, snap out of it, because today, sir, you're learning about film music. Music plays a huge part in the creation of films today. It's hard to think of your favorite modern film without some sort of music. It's a little absurd, actually. Filmmakers have become so dependent on music to add emotional depth, oral aesthetics, and elevated mood to their work that sound is almost as important as the visual. But wait, once upon a time music didn't exist in films. So who was the clever little critter who came up with the idea of combining the two? Let's travel back to the 18th century, shall we? Greek melodramas were a cross between an opera and a drama, hence the name. Naturally, the proud supporters of Greece claim that they came up with the first pairing of music and visuals. On the other side of the fence, however, dances fancy pants musical theatre-loving fans who are convinced that it all started with good old Rodgers and Hammerstein type entertainment. Either way, it seems as if directors were left in the dark, and films were kept silent until late 1895, when finally filmmakers started to catch on. The Lumiere brothers suspected that they were being left behind and decided to screen one of their films with improvised piano accompaniment. The crowd went wild, and shortly after that, entire orchestras were stuffed into the cinemas to support the films. However, it's often believed that in the beginning, the main reason music in the cinema was embraced was to cover up the sound of the awfully loud film projector. However, when technology allowed for quieter machines, the strange, awkward silence was just too much for the audience to take. Music in cinemas was becoming the talk of the town, but not always for nice, happy reasons. Because the music wasn't composed directly for the films, directors would make embarrassing mistakes, like having an entire orchestra play while on screen a man is simply belting out a tune on his tin whistle. Apart from comic relief, this wasn't exactly having the desired effect on the audience by enhancing their emotions and drawing them into the plot.
Wait a minute.
In 1927, Al Jolson starred in the first movie to contain spoken dialogue, The Jazz Singer. Through this, directors started to consider the potential success they could achieve by hiring composers. It was around the 1930s that film music was taken advantage of, and it began to add to the image rather than detract to it. In 1931, Charlie Chaplin composed his own music for the film City Lights, which was an instant success. Directors began using and reusing themed mood music such as happy, dramatic, and impending doom. These musical themes stuck, and that's why certain types of music are associated with certain genres, such as the classic songs, the good, the bad, and the ugly, used for country and western films. During this time, there were two choices: specific composed music or no music at all. With the popularity of Walt Disney films, music tended to follow the actions of the characters closely, and the music set the rhythm and pace for the shot sequences. In fact, in 1940, Fantasia was created by first composing the music and adding the visuals later on. Musical cliches were avoided during this time, and the composers began to adopt a more experimental style to their work. All these events led up to the success of filmmakers who cleverly manipulated sounds to create a certain reaction in the audience. In Star Wars, John Williams uses music to differentiate between the antagonists and protagonists. Alfred Hitchcock used the screeching strings in Psycho to have an almost psychological effect due to the almost bearable pitch. And these days, music is even used in films as a marketing tool to sell music, and it's not uncommon for a producer to release the official soundtrack of a film. Chariots of Fire, the Rocky theme. So many movies are made famous through careful presentation of the musical elements within the film. It's becoming more and more common for filmmakers to compose their own music. However, before they begin, they must take a leaf from the master's book and investigate a number of factors. Before attempting to add music to a film, you must ask yourself the following question. What style of music would suit the genre of your film? How long does the music need to play for? How loud should the music be, and what emotion are you trying to evoke in the audience? If you think long and hard about these things, then you're well on the way to becoming the next John Williams. Congratulations! Now that you know all about film music, you should do something about it. Go out into the world and make some film. The end.